Hi everybody. So real quick, I want to talk about lines. I know we did a little bit last week or last month, and I want to show you a few things with lines so that you can use them in this month's project. They are fairly easy to do, but I want you to practice for a while with them. I want you to get the feel of how to create them and kind of make your own shape. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to come up here to the artwork, to the pencil, and then we're going to go right to the next section where you have a line that has two ends on it. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start with, a real basic line. That's long enough. I'm going to come out of the artwork and by selecting the select tool, and the next thing I want to do is I want to come down here to the shape. You'll see now that my line's a little thicker. You can see my entry point, you can see my end point, but if you look at my cursor, I have a little curve on it, and what this allows you to do is you're going to right click on your mouse. Hold on. You're going to right click on your mouse. I lost my tool. And you're going to drag this, and you can, drag it this way, and then if you don't like it, you can right click and come up that way. And so you're going to add your curve to your line. Now, it's still an artwork. You would have to, if you wanted this to stitch on your design, as you typically do, you would take your artwork and you're going to turn it into a run. And what I want you to notice is in the last video I talked to you about the block of little squares around an item. So until you select this and you put that block around it, you are not going to be able to change this from artwork to a run. So that's something to pay attention to. So there we have our first one. Let's draw. What I want you to do is I want you to draw a second line. Same choice where you have the two end pieces. And this time I want you to do 3 or 4 little points, and I want you to come almost back to where you started. And I want you to then hit the select key, and you can see that there's my design. I have it in my squares, but this time what I want to do is I want to close it. And so I hit this little button down here that says close, and you'll notice that this little area that I had not drawn in, the software automatically did it for me. Again, I have the select box around here. I can make it a run. If for whatever reason I want to take a curve to this, I'm going to select it. I'm going to come back up in here to my shape tool, and you'll notice that my shape has changed. And I do have points, and at each one of these points I can make some adjustments. So for example, I can come over here and I can curve that out a little bit. I can come over here and I can curve that out a little bit. I can curve that out a little bit. And so it changes the dynamic of what I have drawn. I went from just some simple straight lines to a little UFO, if you will. So that is something that I want you to play around with. Draw your lines, practice curving your lines, get used to being able to kind of create those. And as we go on, I will explain why I want you to practice doing those. It will be applicable when we start our project for the month. So the next little piece that I want to talk to you about, again, we're going to go into artwork. And in this particular case, we're going to come right here to the curved line or the arc, this is the same concept. You have a beginning point and you have an end point. So we're going to select this one, but you'll notice that there's a difference this time. Here's my start point. Here's my end point. And then when I hit select, I have, oh, I must have the wrong tool selected. Hold on. Oh, no, I don't. I'm sorry, I have that wrong. My start point, my end point, my select tool, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shape this. There we go. When you work with an arc, the difference is you'll notice that it changed the top and the bottom. You didn't get the line pulled only in the one direction that you were pulling. You got it in two different directions. So again, let me show you. I'm going to select this area right here, and you can see how the design is changing in multiple areas. And that is using your arc tool. So I want you to practice with that. I want you to kind of get familiar with how that particular function works, because arcs are kind of fun to work with. And in this month's project, creating some arcs are going to be interesting to complete your design. Like I said, again, I want you to practice it, get comfortable with it. It's not a difficult process, but it is something that will apply when we start to put this month's block together. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is the curve. And you're going to come down, and again, you're going to have your start point, and we're going to have an end point. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to select, and we have our line again. Now we're going to have our arc tool. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on. Something went wrong here. Let's try that again. Oh, okay. There we go. So now you'll see that right here we have this done. This requires, and this is my fault, I'm sorry. This requires 3 points. And so you're going to pick your 3 points, and you'll notice that what happened was it automatically curved it. So if I go 1, 2, 3, the software automatically made the curve for me. And so this is kind of a neat little tool if you want to create, say, your own stippling design. You can just kind of work through this, let the software make the curves around what you do, and it does make it pretty easy actually to just kind of drag and your points around. I'm actually going to zoom out of here a little bit, and you can see that I could take this and I could create my stipple stitches and very easily do it so that I don't have any overlap in making my design for my stipple stitches. But it's not very hard for me to do this. It's just a matter of dragging my mouse in different directions and right clicking. Now every time you see that little square, that is where I have right clicked, and that's where the software is creating the particular arc that it's making as you work through this. Once you have your design, you're going to again come up here and just click on select. You're going to turn your artwork into a run. And again, remember that you have to have your square, your 4 corners and your 4 middle pieces to turn it into a run. So this is kind of a neat little technique to be able to play and kind of design some fun little things. Now, for example, if you're really good at it and you practice, you could do a cartoon character style monster. You could do all kinds of things. So these are the basic techniques as far as your line, your arc, and your curve. So those are the three right now that I want to practice, to be quite honest. I am still struggling and trying to figure out this Bezier, so I'm not even going to try and teach it to you. I will do another video on the pen, and there's a reason that I want to do that separately. I'll explain that when we get there. But in the interim, practice your lines. Remember that when you do your lines, one of the things that is kind of, a neat little feature is you can come close to where you started and click that close button, and the software will do that for you. And that is, really handy when we start to digitize items by hand, because if you're, got a very small design and you can't quite, match your lines up, the software will match the line up for you. So hopefully you will take some time, and this is a month about drawing. Honestly, it's a month about doodling. It's going to create a very interesting and unique block. Nobody is going to have the same block, and I think that's kind of going to be the fun behind it. But everything we are doing is based on drawing techniques this month. So practice. Have fun, doodle. If you're better than me and you can draw something more than a stick figure, by all means play with your mouse, see what you can come up with. And then, like I said, I will do another video on the pen and why I want to do it differently. And we will go from there, and I will shortly have all the videos up and you can start on your project. Thanks.